Hey folks, we are back with another over-the-counter hearing aid review, and this is from a brand that I haven't heard of yet. They're pretty new. I mean, let's be honest, all over-the-counter hearing aids are really new. They've only been out for a little over a year now. And when I first opened up the case, I was really surprised. These look like really high quality, really nice hearing aids. They actually look like a set of prescription hearing aids. They feel really good, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. Now, I know there's a lot of folks out there doing tech reviews like headphones and cell phones and, different things like that. Well, I only do hearing aid reviews, prescription hearing aids, and now over-the-counter hearing aids. I'm a licensed hearing aid practitioner in the great state of Pennsylvania, and I also have a mild high-frequency hearing loss. So I have the privilege and a unique perspective because I actually need and use hearing aids. And I really understand the struggle of finding a good pair of hearing aids and all the issues that come with owning hearing aids. Now, my objective when doing these reviews is to stay as objective as possible. I want to stay away from, these are good hearing aids, these are bad hearing aids, you should get these hearing aids, you shouldn't get these hearing aids. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to show you guys what they're like, what kind of features they have, and how they work. I'm also going to compare these to prescription hearing aids using the prescription hearing aid feature chart that I came up with. Because prescription hearing aids have a lot of very important features that not all over-the-counter hearing aids have. If you can find a good set of over-the-counter hearing aids with the prescription hearing aid features at a decent price without breaking the bank, then you're in business. There's a lot of hearing aids out there right now, and it can be very challenging finding the right one for you, and that's where I come in. And to help you on your over-the-counter hearing aid buying journey, I've created a buying guide for the OTC hearing aids, and you guys could check that out at the end of the video. Now let's once again dive into the world of over-the-counter hearing aids and take a look at the new Elehear Alpha Pro. So the Alpha Pro is an RIC hearing aid. RIC means or stands for receiver in the canal. So the main part of the hearing aid goes behind your ear, and then the actual speaker or receiver goes inside your canal, and it's connected by this really thin, nearly invisible wire. Now, in the world of over-the-counter hearing aids, you have what I've come up with 3 different categories. You have your lower cost, anywhere between like $200 or $300, and then you have your really expensive, super expensive hearing aids that can cost anywhere from like $1,200 all the way to $2,500 over the counter. And then you have the hearing aids that are right in the middle. They tend to be of higher quality, and they land right in the anywhere between like $500 and $1,000 range. And that's right where these Alpha Pros land. They are $500 right now. Now the retail price is actually $1,000, but right now you can get them for 50% off, again at $500. Now with that $500 price tag comes some really nice features. You get 1 free month of remote assistance offered by the Elehear team with a licensed audiologist. They have artificial intelligence noise reduction, or AI noise reduction. They also offer Bluetooth and streaming. They have an app for different adjustments, and they even have directional microphone control. So when there's a lot of noise, you can actually tell the hearing aid, I just want to listen to what's in front of me. They have what I think is better than average sound quality. I've reviewed quite a few different over-the-counter hearing aids. Most of them are in the $200 to $300 range, and these do sound a little bit better than those. They have really, really good feedback control, and they also come with a portable charger with quite a big battery. You're going to get a lot of charges out of this portable charger. Now let's go a little more in depth about all these features, and then we're going to use the prescription hearing aid feature chart and compare these to actual prescription hearing aids and see just how close they get. Now this is how they look when you're actually wearing the hearing aids. They are very easy to insert as long as you don't have one of those really tiny ear canals. And they're also very discreet, nearly invisible, just like most of your other prescription RIC hearing aids. This is actually how I instruct my patients to get them in when they're brand new to hearing aids and they're just learning to put them in for the first time. Step 1, you loop the hearing aid over your ear and just get it to stay there without falling off. That's step 1. Step 2, you're going to take the receiver and start guiding it into the ear canal. And then once it's in there part of the way, then you're going to take your finger and just kind of smush it in there as far as it'll go. You'll know the right hearing aid because it's going to have red on the receiver, and the blue hearing aid is going to have a blue receiver. And this is the same for all hearing aids. Right is always going to be red, blue is always going to be left. Now the hearing aids come with 2 different types of domes, power domes and then closed domes, like a cup, and they each come with 3 different sizes. But they are both occluding. They're both going to seal up your ear quite a bit, and you're going to have that occlusion effect. And if you want to know what I'm talking about when I say occlusion effect, just stick your fingers in both of your ears and then start talking, and you're going to notice that your own voice sounds a little bit louder, a little bit more bassy, kind of like you're in a tunnel. And people generally don't like the way this sounds, but that's what you get with these hearing aids. Now, a neat little trick that I've come up with is you can actually turn these closed or cup style domes into sort of a tulip dome. A tulip dome is kind of halfway in between open and closed on the occlusion spectrum, if you will. You're going to cut 2 vertical slits opposite each other, and that's going to kind of open up the dome and give you more of an open feeling, and it will cut out some of that occlusion. Just remember, these domes are occluding for a reason. It's to avoid feedback. When you have more occlusion and as you start sealing up your ear canals more, you're going to be less likely to have feedback. So that's why these over-the-counter hearing aids usually only come with occluding domes. But if you can get away with wearing these tulip styles after you modify them with no feedback, you're good. But as you need more volume, if you start turning the volume up and you start getting feedback, you're going to have to ditch the tulips and just go back to either the power dome or the closed cup dome that they come with. Now with me, and I always do this test, this is one of the first things I do when I get the hearing aids, is I will put the hearing aids in and crank up the volume and see if I can get maximum volume or full on gain without any feedback, and I was able to. I did not have any feedback issues. When they say these have good feedback control, they were accurate. And the great feedback control on these is due to Elehear's VO Clear technology that is powered by artificial intelligence, and it works extremely well. Feedback is one of the main drawbacks of over-the-counter hearing aids, and these will not disappoint. Now, as far as the buttons go, each hearing aid has an up and a down button that allow you to change the volume. You could also change the programs with the buttons, and you could use them to power the hearing aids off. To power the hearing aids off, you just hold the top button down for like 7 to 8 seconds, or you can power them off by putting them in the charger. To change programs, you hold the other button, the volume down button, for like 3 to 4 seconds, and that will cycle through the various programs. Now, I do want to talk about the volume really quick. Although I was able to max out the volume and get pretty decent amplification with these hearing aids without any feedback, when I got to those higher volume levels, I did notice some kind of, it wasn't static, it wasn't a white noise, it was some kind of really low level electronic, it almost sounded like interference. This didn't happen when I was at volume levels like 1 through 3, maybe 4, but as I started turning up the volume more, I did notice an interference sound. Now, I have a super mild hearing loss, so I can hear these really low level noises. You may not even hear this, but I did. That's somewhat of a concern. I'll leave that up to you guys. I had to point that out because, you know, I got to keep these reviews 100% honest. So I did get an update for you guys. I reached out to the manufacturer. They got a hold of me right away, and they said that there's an update available for the app. So to get this update, you just go to the App Store, whether you're on Android or iPhone, doesn't matter. Search for Elehear, and you should see that there's an update available for the app. Once I updated the app, I did notice that the interference got a little bit better, and after playing around with some of the settings in the app itself, I was able to virtually get rid of it, but it did take a little bit of, changing some of the settings here and there. So you might still hear it a little bit, but it is definitely a lot better. Now let's discuss the charger. This is a really nice portable charger that will allow you to charge the hearing aids on the go, even when the charger's unplugged. But what really separates this charger from other portable chargers I've seen is it will give you 7 full charges from completely dead to completely full. This has a big battery bank. It is a little bit bigger, it's kind of bulky, but offering 7 additional charges is quite a bit. So you could take this with you and get several days of use without ever having to plug it in. Most other portable chargers that I've reviewed so far offer maybe 2 or 3, full charges, but this one gives you 7. I was pretty impressed by that. Now, the hearing aids at the default settings will last 20 hours, and I did verify this. However, remember, default settings mean it's a very, very low volume. So if you start turning up the hearing aids or you stream with them and you're watching videos, you're probably not going to get that full 20 hours. I did what I always do. I just left the hearing aids on the counter. I left the TV on, went to work, came back, and I checked it, about every hour, and they did last a full 20 hours, again, on default settings. Now, this coupled with the 7 full charges that you can get out of the battery will get you 160 hours of runtime, which is pretty crazy. And remember, that's without ever being plugged in. Now, speaking of default settings, if you ever want the hearing aids to go back to the factory defaults, you just put the hearing aids in and you're going to hold down this reset button that's on the side of the charger. You hold that down for about 7 seconds. The light on the front will start blinking and that's going to reset the hearing aids. Now, the two most important features in an over-the-counter hearing aid, in my opinion, are wax guards and the ability to be programmed based off of your hearing loss to fit your prescriptive needs. And these are the top two important features on my prescription hearing aid feature chart. And we're going to talk about that later. Now, the perfect over-the-counter hearing aids, and I haven't found one yet, would have both of these features, and these sadly do not. But they do have wax guards, and that is a huge bonus for any over-the-counter hearing aid. I cannot overstate that. And a really cool thing is these actually use the same wax filters as the Philips and Oticon hearing aids. They're called the Pro Wax Mini Fits. So these are going to be very easy to find online once you run out and you need to get replacements. And the other nice thing is they're most likely always going to be available somewhere online. And of course, I'll have links for them in the description. So to change the wax filter, you just take your packs of filters. There's these little tabs. You pull one of the tabs out and it's going to have a brand new wax filter on one side of the tab. And then the other side of the tab is going to have this empty stem. And that's what you're going to use to remove the old filter. You take the rubber dome off the end of the hearing aid. You're going to stick that empty stem into the wax filter that's already in the hearing aid and you just pull it out. And then you just pop the new one in. It is super, super easy. All right, so now that we got all the basics out of the way, I want to talk about the bread and butter of this hearing aid, and that is the Bluetooth features and the app. Now, one of the best features that these hearing aids have is the fact that they are compatible with both iPhones and Android phones. And that's huge because I've reviewed some really expensive over-the-counter hearing aids that only have support for the iPhone, which sucks. A lot of people have Androids and a lot of people love their Androids and are not willing to give it up. And with both operating systems, the pairing process was super easy and pretty much the same. You're going to go into your app store, whether that's the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You just open it up. You're going to type in Elehear, search for it, and this is the app that you want to get. Just install it. Once it's finished installing, you're ready to go. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take the hearing aids out of the charger, and that's going to put them in pairing mode. You're going to open up the Bluetooth menu, and you're going to select Elehear. And then the only difference between Android and iPhone is with the Android, you're going to get this extra little pop-up that comes up that says, do you want to pair? And you just hit the pair button. Once they're connected, you just open up the app, you hit connect, and that's pretty much the pairing process. You are done. It is super, super easy and seamless. Now, quick side note, these are not MFI or made for iPhone hearing aids. So that's why you're not going to connect them in the accessibility menu of the iPhone. And you are going to miss out on a couple of the nice features that those have. But you know, it is what it is. And much to my surprise, there's a couple of really, really cool features in this app that I was not expecting at all. So one of those surprises, and this one was pretty crazy. These hearing aids are not advertised to be hands-free, but they are, kind of. So once these hearing aids are connected via the Bluetooth, to your phone, they will stream. They will stream phone calls. They will stream YouTube videos, music. If you have Pandora, any sound that comes out of the phone can be streamed to the hearing aid. And I found out these are kind of hands-free because I took a phone call from my dad. And once I was on the phone, my dad said, "What the heck happened to the sound? You got really loud all of a sudden." And I said, "I don't know." And then it clicked. I put the phone down, I walked away, and I'm like, "Dad, can you still hear me?" And he's like, "Yep, loud and clear." And the phone was in the bathroom and I was in my YouTube studio and I could still talk to my dad because when you're on the phone, it actually switches over and it uses the mic that's on the hearing aid. Instead of talking on the phone like this into the phone's microphone, you can actually set your phone down, or it could be in another room, it could be in your pocket, your purse, whatever, and all the sound will be picked up through the mic on the actual hearing aid. So really, really cool. I wasn't expecting that at all. The only reason I say that they're kind of hands-free is because you can't actually use the button on the hearing aid to answer the phone. You still have to have the phone near you to answer the call, and you're going to do that like normal. But once you're on the phone and once you're talking on the phone, then, you could do whatever you want. You can walk, 20 feet away from the phone and still have your conversation. Now, if you want to listen to a podcast, listen to a YouTube video, listen to anything, you just start playing it. Start playing a YouTube video, turn on a podcast. You don't have to do anything to get the streaming going. It just starts streaming. All the audio will come out of the hearing aid speaker. And I'll tell you what, the streaming audio is fantastic. And this seems like the case with a lot of the nicer over-the-counter hearing aids. So if you're looking for something that gives you great streaming and also amplifies, the world around you, these do a pretty decent job. The streaming is great. I wore these to the gym several times, and I wore them the entire time. I mean, I'm on the treadmill, I'm lifting weights, and I was listening to a podcast the whole time. And I just kept thinking, man, these sound nicer than my Jabras for the streaming, okay? Only for the streaming. Now, quick side note, with these hearing aids, you cannot stream and listen to the surrounding sounds at the same time. It's one or the other. If you're streaming, the microphone's going to be muted. If somebody comes up and starts talking to you, you're not going to hear them, or at least the hearing aids are not going to amplify it. But all you have to do is hit mute. It will pause the streaming, and then the hearing aids will turn back on again and amplify the sounds around you. So you're going to have to choose one or the other, streaming or microphones. Now, since we're talking about sound quality, although the streaming sound quality is fantastic, we must remember these are hearing aids, and streaming is more of a convenience. It should be more of an afterthought. The main purpose of hearing aids is speech understanding and speech intelligibility, being able to understand folks better, not streaming. And when it comes to actual sound quality of the amplification, the hearing aid part of the hearing aids, I would say that they're better than average when it comes to over-the-counter hearing aids. But it is still nowhere near the sound quality of a good prescription hearing aid, okay? I'm not saying these are bad hearing aids. They are actually really nice over-the-counter hearing aids, but I don't want you to buy these over-the-counter hearing aids thinking you're going to get the same sound quality as you do a prescription hearing aid. They are not there. And I haven't reviewed a hearing aid over-the-counter that is there. None of them that I've reviewed are even close to prescription hearing aids. Okay, guys? Now, I would say that these Alphas from Elehear have a really nice balance, though, between streaming and sound quality of the amplification. Again, these, I would say, are better than average for over-the-counter hearing aids. Now, when you open up the app, you're greeted with the main controls for the hearing aid. At the top, you can change programs. In the middle, you have your volume controls. And then below that, you have a couple of options. On the left, you have noise reduction. And then on the right, you have a microphone directionality feature where you can have 360, sound, or you can have a front directional mode where it only amplifies sound that's in front of you. And then at the very bottom right, you have another page where you can access the equalizer, and you can also set the severity of your hearing loss. And then at the very top of the app is a very surprising, most welcome, kind of a hidden little gem. A remote microphone option. I didn't expect to see this, and I've never seen this in an over-the-counter hearing aid app yet. And then there's another kind of cool little feature that I haven't seen in an over-the-counter hearing aid, and that is a sound level meter. So when you open this up, you can actually see what kind of environment you're in. It will actually tell you how loud the ambient noise is around you. Not the most useful feature, but it is pretty cool. Now I want to talk about programs. So the hearing aids have 4 different programs. The first program, of course, is your general all-around program. Number 2 is the restaurant program, and this is for, noisy situations. And what this is actually doing when you switch to this one is it's turning the noise reduction option all the way to the max, and it also changes the speech focus, the 2 little options I showed you earlier, to the front focus position instead of 360, only amplifying sound that's in front of you. And if you're wondering, yes, this actually does work. I actually wore these into a Chinese buffet, and this place was loud. Probably the loudest restaurant I've ever been in. There's little kids running around, throwing jello at each other. This place was a zoo. And when I went in there, it was loud. The hearing aids were picking up everything. I was in the general program. I switched it over to the noise program, and everything just immediately died down and got very quiet. I was pretty impressed. Now, I didn't have anybody to talk to because I'm a sad, lonely, single bachelor. And if I did have somebody to talk to and they were sitting across from me, I'm sure that these would have done pretty well. So the third program, outdoor, it changes the listening mode back to the 360. So it's picking up everything around you. So if you're a hunter or something, you might want to try these out. And it also shuts off the noise reduction. So the noise reduction goes all the way down. And then for the TV mode, all it really does is it changes the speech mode back to the front directional mode so that you're only focusing on the TV and not picking up sound around you, which is kind of effective. But you can also be doing all these things by just adjusting the noise reduction and adjusting the speech focus. All in all, the programs are okay. They're not the most advanced programs out there that I've seen. They're basically just presets, of the two different options that are at the bottom, the noise reduction and the speech focus option, which do work fairly well. For somebody that's not really tech savvy, these programs do offer a really, really easy way to adjust your hearing aids based on the situation that you're in. Now, as far as the equalizer, and this is pretty self-explanatory, but the way they do it could be a little bit confusing if you're not used to different equalizers and different apps. You're able to adjust the lows, the mids, and the highs, or the lows, the mids, and the highs. The lows are labeled as ocean waves, so it's kind of giving you a real-life example of what might be considered in this category. The mids are labeled as world sounds, so kind of like background noise, I guess. And then the highs are labeled as birds chirping, because those are high-frequency sounds. Now, a 3-band equalizer is easily one of my favorite hearing aid app features that they can add. Without an equalizer, you don't really have a way to finely tune your hearing aids, according to what you like and what sounds the most clear for you. An equalizer really gives you an option to dial in your own hearing aids. Even with prescription hearing aids, we can set your hearing aids based off of your hearing loss, using your audiogram. But we still don't know exactly what they sound like for you. Only you can decide what sounds most clear. And an equalizer is the perfect way to, again, finely tune your own hearing aids based off what sounds best for you. So I'm really glad to see a full, 3-band equalizer in these hearing aids. There's some prescription hearing aids out there that don't even have a 3-band equalizer. They have a high and a low, and the way they do it is really weird. These do have a decent equalizer. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the remote mic. This is really, really cool. It's pretty much the same thing that the iPhone gives you if you have a MiFi or made for iPhone hearing aid. It basically allows you to use your phone as a remote mic. So if you're having trouble talking to somebody, or let's say you're married and you can't hear your husband or you can't hear your wife very well, you could just put the phone right in front of them and the phone will capture everything that they're saying with the microphone on the phone itself, and it'll be transmitted or streamed directly to your hearing aids. If I turn the remote mic on and I talk into the phone like this, my voice will be going directly into your hearing aids, and you can actually adjust the volume. You can turn that mic up or you can turn it down. It's a really, really cool feature. And when you use it, it tells you that you can actually use this as kind of like an amplifier for the TV. You can set the remote mic on and you could put it right in front of the TV speakers. The TV sound is going to go right into the phone, and then it's going to come through your hearing aids nice and loud. So I think this is a really, really cool feature. We actually sell remote mics when I worked at Beltone, when I work at Costco, and these remote mics are like $200 to $300. It's insane. Well, you can use your phone as one of those. It's a little bit bulky, but you can use it. And another example of where you can use this is if you have like a grandkid that you have really trouble hearing and you're all sitting at the dinner table, you can turn the remote mic on and then set that phone right in front of little Timmy, and you can hear, everything he's saying. So with the 3-band equalizer, the noise filter option, being able to adjust that, the speech focus option, being able to do front focus or 360, the remote microphone, and being compatible with both iPhone and Android, I'm going to be honest, this probably makes it one of the best over-the-counter apps that I've reviewed so far. Now, I haven't reviewed all the hearing aids, folks. There's still a lot of them out there that I have not checked out. There might be way better hearing aids than these for a less price, but I'm still trying to get my way through all the different hearing aids and review as many as I can so I have a much better reference. And there's a lot out there, but so far, this is just a really, really nice app, and definitely the bread and butter of these hearing aids. Now it's time to look at just how close these are to a prescription hearing aid using the prescription hearing aid feature chart. And then we're going to take a look at the price per point. How much money are you paying for each one of these features? This is going to give you a reference and kind of a guide to use and compare to the prices of other hearing aids out there. So number 1 on the list is programmable. These are not programmable, so 0 points. Number 2 is wax filters. These do have replaceable wax filters. They're good wax filters. Not that I really know of a bad wax filter, but the fact that they are the same as the Oticon and Philips wax filters means they're going to be highly available. I don't think you're ever going to have trouble finding replacement wax filters, and they are super easy to replace. Number 3 is the warranty and trial period. These have a 1-year warranty and a 45-day trial, so they get 1 point for the warranty and trial. As far as the durability goes, these do not have a high IP rating. They're not rated at all. I did talk to the manufacturer and they said they could withstand a little bit of moisture. They're sweat proof, and I did wear these to the gym, and when I go to the gym and I'm running on the treadmill, I am sweating like crazy, and I wore these all day, but the sweat didn't bother the microphones. It didn't do anything to the hearing aids. I just wanted to point that out. These are sweat proof, but they're not even rated, so they get 0 points for the durability factor. Number 5 is Bluetooth and hands-free. These have pretty much both, so I gave it 1 full point. They have an app, 1 point for that, and then they also have programs, so 1 point for the programs. The last category is a bonus category, and that is batteries. What that means is, if a hearing aid has 2 different options, you can get it with a replaceable like 312 battery, or you can choose the rechargeable option. I would give these hearing aids a bonus point, but I haven't found an over-the-counter hearing aid yet that has both the replaceable battery and the rechargeable version. Some people don't want a rechargeable hearing aid because, let's face it, that rechargeable battery is not going to last forever, and you're also not going to get 24/7 uptime with a rechargeable battery. You're going to have to charge it at one point. With batteries, as soon as that battery dies, you can pop a new one in right away and you're ready to rock. So they don't get the bonus point. For all you manufacturers out there, if you have a hearing aid over the counter with both options, send it to me. Let me know. Email me at HearingClubOnline@gmail.com. So all in all, these hearing aids are pretty close to a prescription hearing aid. They actually scored 5, which is one of the best scores I've had so far. So they are pretty close to a prescription. And at $500, the price per point is $100 per point. This is a pretty standard price per point, so I would say that's a pretty fair price for these hearing aids. Given the fact that they're compatible with both operating systems, the app is full of useful features, and they have replaceable wax filters, I would say it's a pretty fair price. Now, if the $500 price goes away and the discount is no longer available and the price does go up to $1,000, that would double the price per point from $100 to $200, and that would be way too much for me. I would be very skeptical to pay for any over-the-counter hearing aids, that are $1,000 when you could pay $1,500 to $1,600 and get some of the best prescription premium hearing aids out there. Now, for everybody that made it to the end of the video, you are in for a surprise. If you leave a comment on this video, then I will be randomly selecting one person to receive a brand new free pair of Elehear Alpha Pros. You don't have to pay anything. You don't even have to be a member. Just leave a comment and you could be selected to receive one of these. Thank you, Elehear, for providing a free set of hearing aids to one of our viewers. Just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and follow me on Facebook, Twitter. That's where I'm going to be communicating who the winner is and when I do the drawing. Now, if you guys want to try these hearing aids out, the link is going to be in the description. You can get these from Elehear's main website, and they're going to try to get these on Amazon next year sometime, so be on the lookout for that. Remember, guys, we have a new website coming soon. I'm going to let you guys know in the community tab when it's up and running. I think you guys are going to love it. And remember, guys, if you want to donate to the channel and help me out, help me keep pumping out these videos, you can donate through PayPal, or you can become a Hearing Club member and just sign up for a channel membership. It is $2.99 a month. So thank you so much for watching, and let's get hearing.